Okay, so I heard there's a few of you that are still a little concerned about these proofs. So I just wanted to kind of go over some tips that I have for getting these proofs down to a point where at least you're able to show me that you've got the basic idea of these. So we're going to call this 3 tips for getting a 3 on your proofs. So tip number 1 is going to be to make sure you know the structure of these proofs. Every single proof that we've done so far has always looked the same when you look at the shape of the flowchart. And I'm still getting some, not very many, but some proofs that are not following that structure. If every single one's look like this, yours needs to look like this. So the first thing you're going to see on every single one of these proofs is you've got to have the 3 congruent things, your 3 congruent pairs. Those are together going to tell you that you have congruent triangles. And then you're always going to use CP/CTC to talk about congruent parts of those congruent triangles. So just as a quick little, just a quick little thing here. So I've got my 3 congruent pairs, because every time we talk about congruent triangles, we have to have 3 congruent pairs. Then I talk about my congruent triangles. Then I can use CP/CTC. So that's tip 1. Your proof will look like that. Tip number 2 is start in the middle. Start by looking at which triangles you're going to prove are congruent, because that is the key to this whole thing. So if I'm looking at this proof here and I'm saying that ABCD is a kite, and I want to prove that angle A is congruent to angle C, one of the main things I need to do is I need to find 2 triangles where angle A is in one of the triangles and angle C is in the other triangle. If I don't have that, then I know I've been the wrong triangles. So a kite, especially if it had the diagonals drawn in, is going to have a lot of triangles. But I need to have one that has all of angle A in one of them and all of angle C in the other. So my only real choice here is to look at the 2 triangles created by this diagonal. So I know right off the bat that I'm going to be talking about triangle ABD and triangle CBD. So that's your first step, is figuring out which 2 triangles you're talking about. Now from there, the last thing is making sure that you know your properties, because being able to fill in these first 3 things is going to come from the fact that you know what this word here means. That this thing is a kite. What does that mean? So you'll have your given coming first. Bonus tip, don't forget to write down your given. If you just jump right into the 3 things you knew without the given, you're not going to get as well. You're not going to do as well as you could have. So what does that word kite tell me about these 2 triangles? And so if we remember, a kite means that I've got 2 pairs of congruent sides. And so that tells me that AD is congruent to DC and AB is congruent to CB. So right there, that got me 2. That's the definition of a kite. So knowing your properties and your definitions is going to be the next big thing. You are not going to be able to find all 3 unless you know what that word kite actually means and are able to find it. So again, 3 things here. Know the shape or the structure of your proofs. Start in the middle and find your triangles first, and then make sure you are using the type of shape this thing is. In this case, it's a kite, and using the properties of that shape to be able to help you out. Now, just a couple of other things. If you're hoping to do a little bit better than a 3 here, is just making sure you have every little detail in there. That you're not skipping out on listing the givens, that you're careful to have every single reason in there. In this case, my third one here would be my shared side. DB is congruent to DB. Make sure you don't have any extra things going on in there. And then make sure you remember to finish this up. The whole point of this was to prove that angle A was congruent to angle C. So in this case, at the end, we can now say that. And that's what it's going to take to get a 3 on one of these proofs, or as the standard score for one of these proofs. That's really what I'm looking for. And you know that at least this part from here on is always going to look like that.